as Pakistan tells the world that it is trying to get back at India to avenge every last drop of blood, in the words of Khwaja Asif, it seems their reality has been bared before the world by Pakistan itself. A request from Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division has put the country in an extremely embarrassing situation. The world woke up to this tweet, to this post on social media X from Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division, which basically asked partners globally for more funds to deal with the current war-like situation with India, and naturally this caught the attention of people worldwide. What did the tweet say? It said, the government of Pakistan appeals to international partners for more loans after heavy losses inflicted by the enemy amid escalating war and stocks crash. We urge international partners to help de-escalate. So please note, there are two very significant parts of this so-called appeal by Pakistan. One, they are saying, please give us money. Second, they are saying, hello world, can you help us de-escalate with India? Nation urged to remain steadfast. Of course, they came in for considerable scrutiny and ridicule and did a quick backpedal. What did Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division then say? They said that their handle was hacked, which is such a familiar playbook, isn't it? Everything is either a false flag operation or disinformation by Indian media, or when they can't blame it on India, they say our handle was hacked. However, India is not letting them get away with it. Take a look at how the Information Division of the Government of India, the PIB, took a dig at this literal appeal for money from Pakistan with this meme tweet. Basically putting out a meme saying, look at the state of affairs in Pakistan. What was the result? The result was that this social media account was terminated altogether. What does one make of this? Is this a desperate appeal for help, or is this part of an information warfare? Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, former Indian diplomat, joins us along with Kanish Gaur, technology and policy expert and founder at India Future Foundation. Kanish Gaur, I want to ask you first of all, what do you make of the original tweet by Pakistan and then the excuse they gave? They're literally saying, hello, paise de do.
Thank you, Padmaja, for inviting me. I believe the right kind of training on diplomacy and international relationship is something which is missing with the social media threat handlers or the account handlers. I don't believe they have their account being hacked. It's primarily the way they are managing things. And our people are right in taking a dig on them because, one, at that point of time, they are begging to the world to bail them out. And then, secondly, they want to use that money for targeting India for buying weapons. So their own people are going to be against them as we move forward. And I'm sorry, they are in a very difficult spot right now with the attack happening from India across kinetic warfare, across non-kinetic, and they're in a very bad state. I don't believe the government and the armed forces are in a state to control. And Pakistan is at a stage where there could be an internal mutiny. Mutiny by the people, mutiny within the armed forces, because their leadership has taken the country to a very wrong direction, which is only going to create more suffering for the actual people within Pakistan. The handling of this entire social media aspect, apart from spreading lies, is just harming Pakistan's interest globally and bringing their reputation completely down.
Well, to be very, very fair to Pakistan, I do not think they have much of a reputation to sink anyway, given the multiple fronts on which they have been embarrassed repeatedly. And we'll talk just a bit about how their own politicians, their diplomats, their former soldiers are now saying, what on earth is the government of Pakistan thinking? But Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, diplomacy, of course, is very, very sophisticated. But then you have another kind of warfare also that is carried out. What would you say as a former diplomat by a PIB handle putting out that meme? Can we please put that meme on air where they say, ye koi tarika hai bheek mangne ka? What do you make of this kind of response?
Well, Padmaya, first of all, I would like to say something regarding your comment that Pakistan doesn't have much of a reputation. Now, let me mention that according to Transparency International, Pakistan is among the world's most corrupt countries. So rather than clean up its act, Pakistan has actually let its ranking drop year by year consistently. Now, uh, as regards the meme and the comments regarding Pakistan's request to the IMF for a loan of $1.3 billion, let me mention that a loan of the same amount was given to Pakistan in March, and earlier a $7 billion loan had been approved, of which every year $1 billion are given to Pakistan. Now, where does this money go? If this loan which Pakistan has now sought will be approved, if it is approved, then it will be the 25th loan by the IMF to Pakistan. So I repeat my question, where does this money go? It goes through the army for the financing of terror. There is no doubt that Pakistan finds itself increasingly poorer by the day because it is using its precious financial resources for training terrorists and sending them across to India. Now, let me also mention that in the IMF, where the meeting today will consider Pakistan's request, a key player is the United States. The United States should be fully aware of Pakistan's activities in regard to terrorism. Let me recall the 2008 Mumbai terror attack was one in which a number of Indians were killed, but also some American citizens. And America is fully aware who carried out that attack. It was the Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is a Pakistani terrorist organization. Moreover, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks which took place in the United States, that mastermind was Osama bin Laden. And where was he hiding? He was hiding in Pakistan. Pakistan had built an establishment for him, houses for him, just a mile away from the military training academy. And Osama bin Laden was killed in that house which the Pakistanis had built. So the Americans are fully aware of the nexus which Pakistan has with terrorism. So I'm sure that they will be sensitive to what we have to say. If this loan is given to Pakistan, it will be used for militant activities against India, terrorist activities against India, and financing this totally unjustified war in which they have engaged with India.
Absolutely. And we must remember that this comes on the back of a bailout package being sought by Pakistan from the IMF, and India has been very clear. Pakistan not only does not deserve it, they actively should be denied this money because, like the ambassador said, it is going to go in only one direction, into the big machine that fuels terror in Pakistan. But let's take a closer look, and Kanishka, I want you to bear on this as well. When they say Government of Pakistan appeals, just take a look at the language, because what now Pakistan is claiming is this is so poorly worded. This is obviously a hit job by Indian hackers. They have blamed this on India as well. In fact, there are also reports that now there is a tweet, there is an X post from the Karachi Port Trust which is talking about widespread damage that has happened. In all likelihood, Pakistan is going to say that even that handle has been hacked and all of this is India's work. But when you take a look at the language here, Government of Pakistan appeals to international partners for more loans after heavy losses. And I don't want to be mean, but it says inflected instead of inflicted. Do you think this is a bad hit job? Because be fair to the Pakistanis. They're saying, look, even if we do ask for money, we don't have such bad English.
Padmaja, I believe the people in Pakistan who are handling this account are not doing a great job. This is a Pakistani version of English, and that's typically you would find that is being used. And if you look at some of the other social media handles of Pakistan as well, you will find similar issues with respect to pronunciation, with respect to English. You won't find the right verbiage being used. That's why they are so poor at diplomacy. That's why they are so poor at any kind of work which is being done. And that's the leadership of Pakistan, which is a true reflection of who they are right now, because all the money which is being raised by them actually goes in funding terror. That's what this state is all
But
about.
you're absolutely sure this is not a hacking, it's not a hacker's job. It's not hackers.
It's not a hack. I don't think so. This is a hacker's job. This is poorly crafted social media right now. Uh, there would be other information warfare, but a handle like this, even if it gets hacked, that comes back within 3, 5, 7 minutes. So putting out something and then saying, I'm sorry, we got hacked, and then putting out another message, I don't think so that is the true factor here. It is purely that someone has done a very shady, a very poor job in putting out this tweet, in putting out this request. That's why it's time that some of these lies of Pakistan are exposed to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
that they want to take money from the rest of the world to fight India. That's why this payment of bailout from IMF is so very important not to be given, because that money will be used against India. That money will be used for terrorism, which will not only focus on Kashmir, but globally. So Pakistan is a terror factory which creates terrorism. Their own defense minister erstwhile agreed that they have been doing the dirty job for the West.
Yeah.
Now, who was sponsoring this dirty job? When the erstwhile Osama bin Laden episode came out, or Daniel Pearl was kidnapped, it was again the job by these terrorists who did that, and it was targeting these so-called Western states, because these Western states have also suffered immensely because of the Pak creation of terror. And it's a global hotbed of exporting terror. So the terror which is created in Pakistan is exported to rest of the world. That's why it's time now to shut down this terror factory once and for all. Otherwise, it'll only become a state which will be broken into multiple pieces, multiple parts. We are seeing what is happening in Balochistan, and it will create more chaos for the world.
In fact, let
That's
me
why
just
this
tell our
get
viewers, sorry to interrupt you for just a second, that tweet I was referring to earlier, it came from the Karachi Port Trust official, official_KPT, and it said Karachi Port has sustained heavy damage following a strike by India, resulting in unacceptable loss of property. Emergency response efforts are underway. Updates on restoration will be provided regularly. And then, of course, within seconds, that post also went off. So right now what Pakistan is saying is we are under a cyber attack and India is trying to carry out this misinformation war, but that is what their excuse is. The fact also is, Ambassador Dayal, that Moody's report just 4 days ago, we must focus on the Moody's report. They said very clearly, if Pakistan goes into the cycle of escalation, they are going to be left beggared. They will not have money for even giving the basic necessities to their citizens. So all of this has a background. The ratings are terrible, they are seeking a bailout, and nobody is willing to give them any quarter.
Let me mention that not just Moody's, but many other international rating agencies have spelled out the danger of any further financing of Pakistan's mischievous activities. There is a very prominent US economist whose name is Michael Rubin, and he wrote 2 days ago that every dollar that the IMF provides to Pakistan is a dollar that the Pakistani authorities will divert to terror groups. And Michael Rubin goes on to say that it is time to end this dynamic. He goes on to say also that cutting off aid may precipitate a crisis in the short term, but it is the only way to get Pakistan to accept responsibility in the long term. Now, if the IMF chooses to cut off the assistance to Pakistan, then Pakistan will have to cut down some of the financing that it gives to the ISI. And I may mention that this financing is too much in terms of what Pakistan's economic resources are. People in Pakistan realize that the ISI is a pampered outfit, and it is so because it is utilized by Pakistan for this nefarious purpose of state-sponsored terrorism against India. So the feeling of amongst many economists is that the ISI has cost the Pakistani people far more over the decades than its budget, and its investment in tourism has made Pakistan a rogue nation, and its corruption has driven away from foreign investors. So it's time for the Pakistani authorities to realize their mistake and to reshape their thinking, also their economy. But as regards the IMF, I think it should just not give a single penny more to Pakistan.